pulling on my bros. Ain't no but don't push me, fingers itching on that. Plotting on my come up, gotta watch stay at my nose. Long nights just to hit the studio. Now I'm eating steak and shrimp. I ain't eating sloppy Joe. Looking to the mirror, flexing now and in his glow. Bust off like a welcome to the rodeo. Shorty wanted me cousin wearing gold. I came up and made it happen. Now it's by the stove. Big inside this case.
Hello again, everybody. It is the coach. You're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a great one on tap between the Seattle Seahawks and the Cincinnati Bengals. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports, and there you get a look at Paul Brown Stadium on the banks of the Ohio River in Cincinnati. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Cincinnati Bengals. Hi again, everyone. I'm Brandon Godden. To my left, Charles Davis. And, Charles, you focus on this Bengal team entering play. And I don't think from what we saw down on the field before the game there's any doubt they're ready to roll.
They passed the eye test, don't they? This team looks fired up and ready to play.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Seahawks, an early season tilt. And when it's an early season tilt, should be ready to roll.
Well, let's face it, the aches and pains haven't really set in yet. And both teams eyeing a really good start to get things going.
The big left foot of Sebastian Janikowski ready to get us started. And we are underway from Cincinnati. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here come the Bengals now to take over. They'll be led out by the Red Rifle. From TCU, it's Andy Dalton.
A day one starter his rookie year. He also won a whole lot of games as well. First 5 years, the Bengals went to the playoffs each and every year. Continues to evolve as a quarterback, learning how to work around a running game, an offensive line, and receivers that continue to develop.
A first down throw coming for Dalton. That's complete to John Ross. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Successful start to the drive, 17 yards, and moves the sticks. And a nice start there to the aerial attack to pick up the first.
And I think preseason is officially over now. Getting into the groove of the regular season, that's a great way to get started. First drive of the season, what a nice completion.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. They go play action here on first down. This one grabbed by A.J. Green. And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Now a play fake here on first down. And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Frank Clark able to run him down for a loss of a yard.
Sometimes I watch games and wonder why they use play fakes on certain passing situations, because it's not going to fool anyone. I don't know if that was the case here, but the end result was the same. No one fooled. The quarterback was hit.
sack cost him only a yard. It's 2nd and 11. The former second-round pick, this is Joe Mixon. And the lane closes up quickly as he'll get about 3 down to the 38. Here now the offense for the Bengals.
Out wide they have A.J. Green, who can run every route you want on the route tree and take the top off the defense with his speed and has the length to go over the top of people to catch the ball. But maybe the most impressive thing about him, the only wide receiver ever to be a Pro Bowler in his first 7 years in the NFL.
3rd down, a shot here for Dalton. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
They're bringing a lot of pressure here already in the first quarter. Already sacked him once. Now they get in there and knock another one away. You think maybe that Tucker rule being gone makes defenses a lot bolder?
Yes, indeed. That time, lucky that the arm was going forward, incomplete pass. On now is Vinatieri as he'll try the field goal. This officially a 55-yard attempt. That's leaking to the right, and he missed it by a foot or two. It's no good, and this will remain a scoreless game.
Everything looked good. Good snap, good hold. Sometimes, though, the ball just doesn't want to go where you want it, and this one winds up no good.
The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. Now they're set up nicely at the 45-yard line after the missed field goal from 55. They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. And incomplete to open things up.
The beauty of being able to play a zone defense when you can sit back and see the ball coming out of the quarterback's hands, guess what? Creates a lot of confusion, kind of a muddle in the middle of the field where you can go make a play on the football.
And he finds Penny. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
Leaves it for Penny. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. Last time out, they had that long 50-plus yard field goal that they missed.
And I'm sure on their sideline, they're thinking to themselves, okay, do we still want to try one if we're in that position again? And I would dare say that the answer would be yes. They're going to have a lot of confidence in their kicker. But just to be on the safe side, I'm sure they told their offensive guys, can we get a little bit closer this time?
Closer.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd rather get in the end zone first and foremost. But if all else fails, less of a field goal attempt for him.
And the big meat on the D-line, we'll see how they do today.
And I'd hate to be an offensive lineman having to deal with these guys. They come in hungry, mean, and confident. They think that no one can block them.
The rush defense stout on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. It's 2nd down. Dalton looking. Quick hitter here. It's complete. This time a spin. Skirts by him at the 35. And they're able to get this one across the 35. First catch of the new season for him, and he picks up the 1st.
And let's face it, that what we just saw there, not a surprise, is it? I mean, this is what he does well. And if you don't tackle him as soon as he catches the ball, this is the end result. Big yardage afterwards.
Got the speed, the agility, so good with run after catch. And we're only in the first quarter, so they better get a wrangle and a hold on that quickly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's really difficult to try and defend him is if you want to press him so that you get him on the ground quickly after the catch, a lot of times he'll just run past you at the initial point of contact, and he'll go deep.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Off the play fake to Mixon. This is Dalton. Going deep downfield for Ross. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Right there in coverage, the veteran Cam Chancellor.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up second down.
They'll try again from the 36 on 2nd and 10. On 2nd down, here's Mixon. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it could be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. They'll run it now out of the gun. 8 yards on the pickup, and now they'll have some options on 2nd and short.
Something to watch here in week 1 of the season, tackling. Because you and I both know that in the preseason, a lot of these guys don't play a whole lot. Plus, the intensity and the speed really ratchets up on opening week.
Dalton with a give here to Mixon. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. It's a gain of 4 there, and it gives him a new set of downs.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. I believe that they've done that here in the first quarter.
And nearly picked off there, almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Fighting his way down to about the 35-yard line. Just a couple there on the 2nd down run. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8 situation. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or two because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
Throwing, Dalton. Underneath, this is Bernard. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. It's a gain of 5, and that's going to make it 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
And Vinatieri's kick is good. And the Bengals are on the board first here. It's 3-0. So he gets an early chance to redeem himself, and he's able to put that one through.
And how happy is he that he's able to get that second chance so quickly after the first miss, gets his confidence back up, and who knows, they may need him for an even bigger kick later in the game.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trite expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. You don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage.
And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. On 2nd down, here's Penny. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
I'd say the staff that's up in the booth watching the game, they may want to file that one away. See how fast the free safety closed to make that play? Might want to check into a throw the next time.
3rd and long. It's Wilson. He's got Lockett. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. On 1st down, Wilson. And he just gets rid of it. Throws it away. A wise move there. Looked like nobody open. Now 2nd down.
Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
Now, he's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a minimal gain here as he's up to about the 47-yard line. Sean Williams that time in on the stop.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
That's a big-time pitch and catch right there. And, partner, I remember the days when quarterbacks would try this. They were holding their breath. But nowadays, they're counting on their receiver to be just a little bit better than the defensive back when it's one-on-one and the ball's in the air like that.
They've made goal line offense a priority on the practice field this week. This is exactly the situation they've been prepping for. They'll try and run forward with Penny. And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Rashad Penny taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Seahawks have taken a first quarter lead. And there you go. Nothing really too complex. Block, keep to your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking beats good tackling on that play. End result, touchdown.
Sebastian Janikowski on for the PAT. Janikowski good with the extra point, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. So the drive winds up going 75 yards in 7 plays, and it results in a 4-yard touchdown run. Out to kick is Janikowski. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And last time able to get 3. It's not what they wanted. They wanted 6, but they got at least something. They mustered something out of the drive.
They'll take it. I like the way you've described it. Not ideal, but they'll take it. Anything to put some points on the board. But this time on offense, they don't even want to see the field goal kicker trot on the field. They want that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, they'll be going for 6. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. First down yardage on the first play of the drive, 14 yards. They keep it on the ground. This time it's Mixon. A gain of 3, second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
It was Jaron Reed who got him down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, He was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A good pickup there of 20 yards. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times, because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Play fake. Here's Dalton. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. The linebacker, Bobby Wagner, able to get back in coverage and knock it free.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
Line of scrimmage, again the 37 as they line up 2nd and 10. Another look for Dalton on 2nd and 10. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. This will be Dalton again. And Eifert has it. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. First catch of the new season for him, and he picks up the first.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
Play action now, Dalton. And that's incomplete.
What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw again, Dalton. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
A first chance in the red zone for the Bengals now. They've got it 1st and goal at the 7. They'll run it now out of the gun. Fighting for the end zone. He lost the football. It's out. And the offense is able to pounce on it inside the 5-yard line.
Wow. That ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They come out here in the eye. They'll run here with Bernard. And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down. 2 straight shots on the ground. Now on 3rd, do you go to the air?
I think the possibility exists, and if you're doing it, you're probably going play action since you ran it twice. But I often think that second down is a time you go play action and throw the ball. I say commit to the run and think about it being 4-down territory.
Alongside Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin, and it's the Bengals with a football to begin quarter number 2. And they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. Now the Bengals on third down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and goal. Green alone out to the right. Dalton on 3rd and goal. And it's caught. They're able to hold him to 3 there, and that leads to a 4th and goal.
Now, that's going to be a tough one to explain when they get together and watch the game film, isn't it? I mean, they had the right call. He's got to know where the first down sticks are, yet he steps out of bounds that close. Not their best play.
On now is Vinatieri as he'll try the field goal. From the left hash, he'll have to cut this at a tight angle. And Vinatieri's kick is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So they get 3, certainly hoping for 6 after a 13-play drive.
So you console yourself on defense by saying you did your job, right? If they go 13 plays, you only give up a field goal, you did a nice job there. But here's the other part. 13 plays, you don't force any mistakes, you don't take the ball away. Maybe that's the way they should look at it.
That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline. Because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things in.
He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment. But here, he's one that has to absorb the contact. And as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
Line of scrimmage. Again, the 25. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 now. Wilson. They set up the screen to Penny. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
Time to give a little credit here. That was an excellent read by the guys on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, you're crediting your defense.
Got to credit them on that one because they tried to fool them, right? Tried to trick them. Ran a screen, and they went to it and smothered it for a loss of yardage.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13. From the shotgun, Wilson dumps that off to Penny as running back. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. They do get 12, but they'll be marked short. And that leads to a 4th down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Now here's Michael Dixon as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line. The Bengals offense now, they head back onto the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point.
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
Toe bashed it.
that. Super toe.
Right off the bat, it's a 1st down to start the drive, 12 yards.
All that practice time came to fruition on that play. All those timing routes that they work on through training camp, OTAs, minicamp, and just regular season, they got it done on that one. An out cut, Ball was delivered and picked up the completion.
Thanks to that last play, a little more room to operate. 1st and 10 at the 18. Play action here with Dalton. He's going to air one out. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line.
Oh, timing is everything on a route like this. He tried to drive that football into a tight spot. And if you're a little early or a little late, chances are there's going to be someone there. And sure enough, this one's going the other way.
Well, let's gaze our attention as the offense takes the field on Rashad Penny. It's the second quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going, but we have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series so those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now. A good pickup there, a 22. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on 1st down. That fits the bill.
And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. First catch of the new season for him, and he picks up the first.
This has to go down as one of the simpler routes in the playbook, but oh so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Wilson now 8 of 11 in this first half. He's got it 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Wilson. And he's going to go down. They get to him back at the 40. And their inaugural sack of the game coming from an unlikely source.
You mean it wasn't a linebacker? It wasn't a defensive end?
It was somebody like you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a surprise for the offense. That's not what they normally get when they think about pressure.
After the sack, it's 2nd and 19, and the road gets a bit tougher from here. Out of the gun, here's Wilson. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. It'll be a 3-yard gain, and they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 17. Operating from the gun, Wilson. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Vontaze Burfict. And they will finally get him down as he's all the way to the 36-yard line.
Well, Brandon, there's no question who they're going to look to on 3rd and long, but you can bet this defense knows that as well, so they're getting blanketed downfield. And this ball winds up being intercepted.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. Now, throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Passing again. Dalton on 2nd and 10. And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off at the 35. Accelerating, and off he goes. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. So a pick 6 there out of the nickel package. They went with 5 DBs.
Almost becoming the base package in the NFL is the nickel. Hard to throw against. That was demonstrated one more time. A pick 6 going the other way.
Janikowski now for the point after. Janikowski adds the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Fielded about a yard deep. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And following the pick 6, and they have decent field position in throwing that pick 6. We'll see how they attack this drive.
And I think all you say to your guy is, listen, let's just take care of the football a little bit better. Make some better decisions on this drive, and they'll probably help him a little bit with maybe some really high percentage throws early to let him get settled back in.
But they told us, they've got confidence. That's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all. They just want to make sure they get things settled down a little bit for their offense and give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
And he will find his man on the end route, complete. That one good for 15, and the Bengals get a first down.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
To throw here, Dalton. Over the middle, that's caught by Ross. And he'll get it down on the play to the 37. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of, until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Passing, it's Dalton. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Shaquille Griffin with a pick. And this one will be brought back to the 22.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Let's gaze our attention as the offense takes the field on Rashad Penny. And he's had his chances in this game. He just hasn't been able to find any daylight so far.
Patience, patience, patience. And that's the hard part for a runner because they expect every run to be a big one for something to pop. So they have to sometimes go through the struggles before it happens for them later in the game. But you got to give credit to the rest of the team. They've worked around the fact that he hasn't had his normal big game.
Yeah, despite his struggles, still winning here in the second quarter. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. At 5 yards on the play there, as the drive will continue.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Throwing now, Wilson on first down. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he showcases the spin, a pretty good gain before he's taken down. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll bring up second down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
First catch of the new season for him, and he picks up the first. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
They'll toss it out to Carson. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another first.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they move the ball with relative ease.
So they'll come up in Bengals territory now with a 1st and 10 at the 38. They keep it on the ground. This time it's Penny. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Same result as last play, 14 yards and another first down.
But they're getting ready to go to work now in prime real estate after that last run. Found his spot and picked up nice yardage, didn't he?
And now he's got him knocking on the door of the red zone. Penny showing folks he was indeed worth the first-round pick as the Seahawks come up on first down. They keep it with Penny on first down. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Big Geno Atkins there to bring him down.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority one.
The Seahawks on third down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, Wilson. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked up by Jesse Bates. And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they've thrown an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
Now this Bengals offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And with 3 interceptions thrown already, we'll see. Do they rely more on the ground game here?
They may have to change things offensively to try and settle things down, not just for the guy throwing the ball, but for the rest of the offensive unit, because his confidence has to be shaken a little bit. And you just wonder, is the backup going to start to warm up a little bit over on the sideline?
And he'll work this one up to about the 38. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
2nd down, Dalton. Over the middle, complete. It's Ross. Over 70 yards receiving now for him in this first half alone, as he's got a first down on that last catch.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Mixon with a first down carry. And he stopped immediately there. Making the stop that time, Bobby Wagner. 2 minutes remain here in the first half. We'll come back to Cincinnati after this. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. 8 yards there on the carry, and now they're left with a much more manageable 3rd and 3. Here's Dalton. He's got his man here. It's Green. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. 23 yards on the play.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
I used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember this, when he was young, he thought the crafty veteran was simply a guy who couldn't run anymore. Now he understands a little bit better.
Dalton throwing on 2nd down. Now he's hit, and Dalton lost the football. And the Seahawks have recovered. The pocket collapsed around him. I know we talk about it a lot, but a QB has to have that sixth sense, doesn't it?
He really does, and I know of one team at one point was training their quarterback with that time frame, and anytime he didn't get rid of the ball within the right amount of time, they would blow a horn or blow a whistle to show him this is what that time is, just what you're talking about, training him to understand this is the amount you have, make sure the ball's gone. Didn't happen in this case.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Following the fumble recovery, it's Wilson. Wilson snags it left side. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. Second and 5 after the 5-yard completion on 1st down. To throw is Wilson. From the gun, he'll throw. And Wilson's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by George Iloka. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line.
You hear me laughing, partner, and I'm not laughing at the situation, but sometimes you just get yourself into a rut. It's hard to shake yourself out of it.
Joe Mixon and the rest of his offense making their way back onto the field. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the 2nd quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. The loss of 3 on that 1st down pass play, now 2nd and 13. Dalton here from the gun. Throwing the slant pattern here complete. The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this 1st half. A 3rd field goal of the 1st half, not what they're looking for as they come up on 3rd down. Third down, a shot here for Dalton. To the left side here for Eifert. And down inside the 15 he goes. Dalton to his big target Eifert for the Cincinnati first.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it. Sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
First down now, but the clock continues to move. Now Dalton with a 1st and 10. His pass caught with the 4. Now a timeout signaled for, and they'll get it with 10 seconds to go before halftime. Another chance for Dalton. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. So on 2nd down, the field goal unit is on here as they try to get 3 before half. From the left hash, should be a fairly easy one here. And Vinatieri's kick is good. And that'll get the lead down to 5. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the 2nd half.
And after the made field goal, here's Adam Vinatieri to kick it away. This is fielded at the goal line. So we've reached halftime here on opening weekend. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We'll get our tour started out at Venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. And as they come towards halftime, it's the Eagles who have the lead in that one. The Eagles looking to get off to a hot start, and a road win would help them do just that. Next, let's get over to Baltimore to check on the Ravens at home at M&T Bank Stadium. And they've got the lead over the visiting Denver Broncos. The Ravens trying to start the season right, and is looking good so far at home. Finally, we finish at MetLife Stadium to see what's going on with the Jets. And that one all even as they play the visiting Cleveland Browns. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a back-and-forth first half. Who can put it together in the second half? For the answer, we turn it back over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's Russell Wilson and the Seahawk offense now getting set to go again. And it was somewhat of a strange first half. He threw 3 interceptions, yet you look at the scoreboard, they've got the lead.
So you know what I think he did at the half? He stood up in front of the team, especially in front of the defense, and said, thank you. Appreciate what you've done. You guys have picked me up in a big way. And guess what? I'm going to get back to being who I am, which is pretty darn good. Let's go play the second half.
And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. That pass play wound up for negative yardage, so here's 2nd and 11. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. So they get half of what they needed. It'll be 3rd and 6 upcoming.
You've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
On 3rd down, Wilson. And he's got Lockett. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. Wilson to Lockett there for the Seahawk first down.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Carl Lawson in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. Well, they go play fake. The problem is nobody was faked out.
And when no one's faked out, what's the end result? Quarterback gets hit.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on 2nd down. Now Wilson operating from the gun. And he's got his man on the out route. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down. The Seahawks on 3rd down. 3 for 7 so far in this game. This is 3rd and 7. Operating from the gun. Wilson. And Wilson has it. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. It's a gain of 20 and picking up the 1st. Well, this is how you shake the thoughts of that interception on the last drive. You come out and start this one 4 for 4.
And watching him throw it around with that type of confidence reminds me of a guy I played with way back when and told me, I don't care if I throw 10 interceptions in a row. I'm going to stay confident, keep flinging it. I'll just figure there's something wrong with the football. Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive.
And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line. Carl Lawson in there to get him his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. And here's Wilson to throw on 3rd down. He hits Baldwin right side. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
These kickers now, it's like we take them for granted. Kicks like that used to be such a big deal, and now you just expect them to make it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we shouldn't take them for granted. But I have a theory about it. You want to hear it?
Yep.
They are more athletic now than ever before. Talk about kickers. Trace their backgrounds, trace their history. You'll find that they were big-time athletes all along, but their kicking was so prevalent that we made them specialists.
Well, and now those 50-plus yarders seem easy for some reason. So here's Dalton and the Bengals now, 1st and 10 at their own 23. Off the play fake to Mixon. This is Dalton. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And all the way down to the 29. A big play there for the Bengals. 48 yards. Nice completion there for Andy Dalton. Charles, you worked some of his games when he was at TCU. Now you've worked his games in the NFL. What progression have you seen?
I've seen a guy who took over as a freshman in college and got better and better each year. Always added a little bit more to his game, gets stronger. But the best part about him is he's always been accurate.
It's 2nd down. Dalton looking. Caught Eifert over the middle. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. The Bengals passing game finding a rhythm. They've got another first.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
Dalton operating in the red zone now. That's going to be caught at the 10-yard line. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. They'll run it now out of the gun. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. He lost 4 there, and it's 3rd down.
The best offenses and the ones that win are ones that make adjustments. And right now, I think this team needs to open things up.
Now the Bengals on 3rd down. They've hit 4 of 7. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, Dalton looks to throw. He drops it off for Bernard. And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
That was well defended, and while it was a completion, it resulted in a loss of yardage. It's really, really hard for a running back to think to himself, I probably should have just dropped it and saved the yardage. It goes against the entire training that he's had his whole career.
So they'll turn to the kicker again. He's been a busy man thus far. And Vinatieri's kick is good. And that'll get the lead down to 5. It can be a thankless job sometimes to be a kicker, but they're thanking him right now. That's now 4 field goals. He's kept him in the game.
He sure has. That offense has got to find its rhythm because I'm not sure that just kicking field goals is going to allow them to win this game.
And after the made field goal, here's Adam Vinatieri to kick it away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they've got to make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. Just a yard on the catch there. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Can you do any more work or make it more dramatic for not much gain than what we just saw there? Did you see how his toes got down? Tip-tap, got him down. But what did he get out of it?
He sold the sizzle. He just had no steak.
I mean, was it 1 yard?
Yeah, plays like that, you at least expect a first down. They're just 1 yard. The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. On 2nd down, here's Wilson. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Baldwin. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. Not quite 50%. 4 for 9. This is 3rd and 4. From the shotgun, Wilson. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the linebacker, Vontaze Burfict. And he brings it back to right around the 26-yard line.
All right, Brandon. Normally when you hear about guys making 2 interceptions in the game, you're thinking must be a free safety, maybe a corner. How about getting 2 picks out of one of your linebackers? Again, he's just in the right place at the right time. And that's another great play to come away with the football.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Again, it's Mixon. Heck of a move, but only able to work his way down near the 23. Tackle made there by Frank Clark.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Dalton. And it'll be intercepted. It's the Pro Bowl cornerback, Richard Sherman.
When we talk about the best corners in the league, we're usually saying shutdown corners, guys you can't complete passes against. Richard Sherman fits that definition to a T. The best part of his game, no wasted moves. He studies the opponent so well, hard to get a pass on Richard Sherman.
The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, 1st and 10 at the 20. After the interception, here's Wilson. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. And a nice gain of 21 yards. They'll throw on 1st down with Wilson. And now here is another interception. He's picked off near his own 48. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line. The interception woes, they just continue to mount. He's thrown 5 picks. At this point, you got to be thinking, is it something between the ears?
I think a confidence hit does occur once you start getting those numbers up there a little bit. But as you and I both know, it's not always just one guy's fault. Maybe somebody ran the wrong pattern. Maybe some balls were tipped. It could be so many different things. Bottom line, though, it comes back to the guy throwing them.
Cincinnati now ready to take the field. A handoff to Mixon. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. It's a Bengal 1st down, a pickup of 11.
Coming in, he really liked his chance of having a big year based on a terrific offseason. And runs like that on opening weekend show that he's right.
To Mixon on the check down. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup, and it'll make it 2nd down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Complete to the right side. It's Eifert. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 10 yards there on a Bengal 1st.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And give him about 4 on the play, but he's marked short, so it'll be third and about the length of the football. They give to Mixon to try to pick it up. Trying to barrel up in there, but I don't think he got it. They'll be marked inches short. No gain on the play, and that's going to lead him to 4th down. On now is Vinatieri as he'll try the field goal. This from 25 yards out. And Vinatieri's kick is good. And that will cut the lead down to just 2. We are through 3 quarters here on NFL Kickoff Weekend. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now in Cincinnati. It's been a good one so far, just a 2-point game here as we get set for quarter number 4. Fielded about a yard deep. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. And he comes out on the heels of an interception he threw last time they had the ball.
Yeah, and you know, the quarterbacks that I know that are the best ones, the ones that really know how to lead their team, they tell them, that's on me. That's my bad. But let's go back out there and move ahead again, guys. We can get this done.
One good thing for him, it did only lead to 3 points and not a touchdown after that turnover.
Big thanks to the defense.
And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. Solid way to start the drive. 13 yards, picking up the first.
Where Brandon Pace comes into play now because they've got the advantage. They've got the football, but they've got to be very careful about what speed they're going to play. You know, my music teacher back in New Paltz, Mrs. Bythema Bagley, used to say, don't go prestissimo when you really want to go largo. And what she meant by that is don't go too fast when you really want to go at a nice, slow, deliberate pace.
I am speechless. I am without speech. Here's Wilson, and he will find his man on the outside. A gain of 6 there on first.
If you're running out route, it's likely you're going to end up near the sideline. And what did we just see there?
Toe tap.
You got it. The benefits of practice. Toe tapping, foot dragging, picking it up, and making sure it was a catch.
Now it's Carson. And he's got this down to the 35. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there, and on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing, in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously, but at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well.
They go play action here on first down. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. A really good pickup of 28 yards. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
So first and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Wilson. End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. Xavier Grimble, a 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Seahawks add on to their lead.
That's almost just not right. You cover everybody, but those tight ends, they can be awfully reliable.
Very reliable. The defense just has to hate those guys.
Just drives them crazy because oftentimes you can't match up with them. They have you either with size, speed, or maybe even just strength.
Janikowski good with the extra point, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drive spanned 5 plays, and the Seahawks capping it off with a touchdown. Out to kick is Janikowski. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Cincinnati now ready to take the field. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick other than the extra point. That's it.
An excellent way to start the drive there, 18 yards.
This possession means so much for them. They've got to focus on this drive and find a way to make this a one-possession game.
Yes.
Got to get a score.
Yeah, so good with a field goal. Don't necessarily need a touchdown. First and 10 for Dalton. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Ross. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. They give them a gain of 37.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
Here's a give to Mixon. Even with the good move he showed, he'll be brought down short of the 15. Earl Thomas in on the stop.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
They'll stay on the ground. Mixon again. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. It's a good gain of 11. Sets him up first and goal.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I can just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there, I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. They'll give it to him up the middle. And that'll get him halfway there as he takes it from the 6 to the 3-yard line.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Green's open, and he's got it for a Bengal touchdown. A.J. Green from 3 yards out. And the Bengals have got it back to a one-score game. And it was a tight window. He knew he had to rocket that thing in there. He got it done.
And when you're able to complete one like that, your confidence has to just go sky high. You just mentioned it. Tight window, zings it in there despite excellent coverage. Result, touchdown.
Now Adam Vinatieri for the point after. A little surprising they wouldn't go for 2, but this is up and good. And the lead is down to 2. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line just across the 25. As Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
They'll start on the ground. It's Rashad Penny. And he'll be tackled at about the 35. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be second down. So the solid run on first, and I would imagine no real hurry to run that second down play.
No, it's all on your quarterback now. He's going to keep an eye on the play clock and bleed things down, and he's not going to let the ball be snapped until it's inside 3 seconds left on the play clock. Unless, of course, you're playing a video game, you're trying to run it up on your friend.
Nice touch. Cold-blooded, too. They'll try and run for it with Penny. And he will have first down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
Brandon, they're still in the lead, but momentum's certainly been going the opposite direction. So, to me, that's a really important pickup there on third down.
Try and regain some confidence, and you're right. They need to stem the tide a little bit. That certainly helped. Just week 1, but already plenty of intrigue with the games going on, and this one no different as we come up on a 1st and 10. Off the play fake, here's Wilson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Vontaze Burfict leading the surge there. He drops him for a loss of 6.
Brandon, more often than not, you'd say they've had his number, and we can count them up so far. 1, 2, 3, 4 sacks given up. But guess what? He's still been able to make some plays, and right now they have a lead.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Here's a give to Penny. 5 yards gets him back near the original line of scrimmage as they'll be left with a 3rd and long.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
The Seahawks on 3rd down. They've converted 5 times in their many chances thus far. This is 3rd and 11. Out of the gun. Here's Wilson. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything to warrant the flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Now here's Michael Dixon as he's on to punt for Seattle. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Joe Mixon and the rest of his offense making their way back onto the field. So after that hot start, the numbers here show the decline. What has the defense done adjustment-wise?
Sometimes when you have a running back who's gotten off to a hot start, you've got to catch him before he really gets going. So you change what you do across the defensive front. Instead of the linebackers being back a few yards, you bring them up closer. It's what we call mugging the line of scrimmage, taking away a lot of blocking angle.
And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by the Pro Bowl safety Cam Chancellor. And a super return as he gets us all the way down inside the 25-yard line.
I tell you, Brandon, it seems like this guy's been all over the field so far. That's his 2nd interception of the game. And so much of playing defense in the NFL, especially when it comes to defending the pass, is all about positioning and technique. And this is fantastic work on both fronts there.
And out now come the Seahawks. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. They want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
Here's Carson. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Well, that's a pretty good drive starter right there. And I don't know, partner, if you're even thinking about sitting on the ball right now. They may just want to run their regular offense.
In plus territory. And as an offensive coordinator, you don't want your team to go into a shell, do you?
No, you really don't. Because as soon as you take your foot off the gas, it's real hard to put it back on and mash it. Because once everyone's emotions come down, hard to start them up again. So I think he may want to keep them cranking high right here. Now, obviously, that's some good work there defensively, being able to stop them and bringing up a key 3rd down. But if you're on the offensive side of the ball, there's an opportunity, because I know what defensive guys are thinking right now. Just stop them, get to the ball. That means they might not be sound defensively. There could be some opportunities.
And you said key 3rd down. Highlight that word, put it in bold. Here we go. Wilson now on 3rd down. Over the middle into traffic, and that's complete. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a 1st down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. So here we go. Maybe the biggest kick of the game forthcoming. A 33-yarder from the left hash. And Janikowski bangs it through, and that will push the lead up to 5. So they get the 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Getting ready to go again, here's Andy Dalton marching back onto the field. And the interception that ended their previous drive, that might be one we look back on and say that was the turning point of this game.
Hey, partner, guess what? There's still time for a few more turning points in this ball game. They're only one score now.
Yeah, true. We could have some twists and turns. Stay tuned. On the right side, caught by Green. A good pickup there, 26 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there. His position, and he's listed as a tight end, but he certainly doesn't run like one, and that's what we're seeing more and more coming into the league. Those guys who can run, make plays after the catch, and gain that additional yardage.
And using that speed there to turn it into a pretty nice little game. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. A first down throw coming for Dalton. And he finds a man with a crossing route. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion. They were in zone defensively, went with a crossing route. It's always interesting to watch that chess match.
Yeah, and I think safeties don't mind crossing routes against zone, because eventually you're going to run into their territory, and that's when they lift their chops in order to get the big hit or a play on the ball.
Offensively, nice execution to find a hole, make the catch. That'll be enough to keep the drive moving forward. Another first down on the pickup of 5 yards.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go, because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Dalton going to break the huddle, come up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. They'll run it now out of the gun. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. The tackle made by K.J. Wright. Now Joe Mixon. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field.
Holding offense.
So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So the Bengals in possession of the football here as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. Dalton here from the gun. Underneath, this is Bernard. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down. Well, they try to swing it out left into the flat, complete, but really nice open field tackling.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it.
Green's open, and he's got it for a Bengal touchdown. A.J. Green, already their second touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Bengals have taken the lead here in the fourth.
Wow, I know it's a never-say-never situation, but to me, that looks like that's the one that's going to finish them off.
The score that puts them in front here late, but not. You got to rally your kick team, don't you, and say the last thing we need is a big return.
And what happens is guys get overeager, get out of their lane because they're so excited they want to make the last tackle. You mess up, could come back at you a long way.
And Dalton to throw.
I know there's some time on the clock, but I still think you kick the extra point there and don't go for two and go for the win in that spot.
Yeah, time or no time, why not just take the one and even the score?
And then that way, no matter what, at least you know what you're dealing with now. It's a whole different strategy. You got to decide whether you're going to onside kick or just try and play defense and get the ball back.
And this return net's positive as he gets past the 25 and up to the 27-yard line. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. Some good games going on in the early window. This might be the best of the bunch. They'll look to throw. Buying time to his left. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's second down. The clock still runs. We're at 90 seconds now. He'll look to throw. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You're having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Well, when you're leading in the fourth quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all. And now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
So the face mask, quite a blessing there as they'll start out of harm's way with a 1st and 10. This is Carson. And he'll get this one down to about the 27. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. A handoff to Penny. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. The Bengals going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down. They'll run it again with Penny. And a short gain here down to the 22. Now the Bengals going to signal for their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. And Janikowski bangs it through. And with a little over a minute to play, they have taken the lead. Big kick right there to give them the lead in the fourth, but there is still time left for a final drive.
Did they score too soon? Post-game will tell us, right? Depending on what happens on this drive, that's how we'll analyze it. If the other team scores, they scored too soon. If they somehow hold on, they manage the clock exactly right.
So now the Bengal offensive unit back out onto the field. They're only in need of a field goal, a decent amount of time on the clock. So Tell me if I'm wrong. You don't have to be too panicked here.
No, not at all. I agree with you. And this is where your preparation and your confidence comes into play. They've worked on these situations.
They practice this all the time.
They practice it all the time. They know what they want to get done.
And he loses the football a second time. And the Seahawks have picked it up. And they have the football and will set up shop at the 33-yard line.
Well, that simply is a missed opportunity. They're in position. If they take the ball downfield and score, they've got a chance to win the game. Instead, they cough it up. I don't think next week at practice is going to be a whole lot of fun for him.
On the other side, no bigger time to force a turnover when you've got that small lead.
Yeah, and when you look at it from the offense's perspective, taking care of the ball, so important. I know they're going to have all kind of ball security drills in practice all next week.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. The Seahawks in victory formation as they go ahead and take the knee.
I do get a kick out of seeing a team kneel down at the end of the game in victory formation and wrap one up, because most of the time a kneel down is not a good thing in football. In this case, it's the best thing for the team that's winning.
Best thing week 1 and 1-0 after going down to that knee. So time to start going in the other direction as they come up now 3rd and long. And partner, this first week, this first game that we get to call together, so special every year, week 1. You had the flyover, the big American flag out there before the game, all the hoopla, just having football back, so special.
It is an opening day, opening game. There's just nothing like it because you really build to a crescendo. But the best part for us is that crescendo lasts for a while. Opening game here, an entire season. We get into the playoffs, to the Super Bowl. I was really excited. I could barely sleep last night. I can't imagine being a player.
So for the Seahawks, a win's a win as they eke out the 2-point victory to take the season opener. And they'll have another road date next week with the Carolina Panthers. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, they go down to defeat here in the opener. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Cleveland to take on the Browns. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Thanks to our entire crew as well. We'll talk to you next time. So long, everybody.